Hello, murder friends, mystery lovers. I'm not quite sure what I want to call you guys yet. Murder friend sounds kind of creepy, or like I'm going to be doing a true crime podcast, and we're cozy here, so we're not going to be doing true crime. But yeah, I like mystery friend. It's kind of interesting. But murder friend is a little fun too. So welcome. I'm so glad you are here. It's been a long time since I've tried to do a live. Well, actually, I tried to do one yesterday and it didn't work. But since I've been able to do one where I get to see the chat and be able to talk to you guys, I've missed you. I am looking forward to talking to you guys. So if you have chat, go ahead and talk to me. I'm so excited to hear from you guys. So I'm trying out a new streaming service, just like I was trying the other day, and my camera and whatever didn't work. So today I'm trying another one. And I thought, because I can't, when I get a new toy, I have to play with it. So I thought, let's play together. So here we are, late night, got my coffee. Hopefully you've got your coffee or whatever you're going to drink. I thought we could chat it up. And I thought, what would be more fitting at this hour than to read to you guys? So I'm going to be reading to you from my second book in the Paranormal Penny mystery series. I'm just going to read like chapter 1 and I'm going to talk to you guys in the chat. I'm so excited to be back making or bumbling my way through lives. I'm already like so nervous. My stomach's all flipping and everything, but I'm really happy to be back. If you haven't listened to me read before, just be prepared. I get super excited and I start reading too fast for my tongue. So, and I'm not doing accents. I did try to have someone come on to do the male voices for me, but that actor passed on the opportunity tonight. But while we're here, I'm just going to open up Crushed, which is book 2 of the Paranormal Penny series. And I'm going to start reading you guys. Don't be shy. Go ahead and talk to me in the chat and I will look up every couple pages and see what's up and we'll have a conversation. All right. What a fun way to wrap up a Monday, right? Okay. So this is book 2, like I said before, but I don't think there's any spoilers from book 1 if you haven't read that yet. It's just Penny Nichols being Penny Nichols. And since it's the Penny series, she survives book 1 because she has to go on to make more, right? Okay. Oh, I'm having so much fun already. You've got to be kidding me. There's nothing more frustrating in life than forgetting to bring a towel with you before you pop into the shower. This frustration is amplified by infinity if you were dyeing your hair in a gym's locker room. Standing in a puddle of navy blue water, I shivered. The steam quickly deserted my stall after the shower timer flicked off. It would be at least 5 minutes before I could restart the warm water. Meanwhile, I became a giant goose pimple. If my skin wasn't stained blue from the hair dye, the chill would turn it blue soon enough. I pictured exiting the stall and spotting Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory staring back at me from the full-length mirror. Except if I couldn't find my towel, I'd be naked and purple. I triple-checked my water-resistant bag. It hung at arm's length on the hook of the shower door. Everything was in place. Shampoo, check. Deep conditioner, check. Hairbrush, check. Everything my shoulder-length hair needed was accounted for, minus a blow dryer. The gym had one of those for patrons to borrow. Everything but a towel. 2 towels, actually. A queen-sized beach towel that I wrapped around my plus-size body and a ratty old Ewok towel that I used to dye my hair. Both were missing. I paced in the 4x4 cell, picturing Godzilla, my van, and tiny house. I cataloged my shower routine. I followed my past self as I set out a kitty litter box for Spades, my cat. Then I had arranged solar panels on my windshield. After that, I packed my bag, rolled up my towels, and stepped out into the frigid air of February. Excuse me. Okay. I was positive my towels had come inside the gym with me. I was certain of it until I remembered what I'd been doing right before heading out to grab a shower. I'd been chatting with Mr. Joe, an old boss of mine from 3 towns back. Mr. Joe loaned me his mailing address and collected most of my mail. In exchange, the sweet silver-haired man asked me to check in with him once a month. These calls acted as phoned-in proofs of life. So if you're watching this and you know where Mr. Joe comes from, go ahead and let me know in the chat because he's from other books. Let's see if you guys can guess where he's from. Joe seemed determined to encourage me away from a loner existence. He didn't believe me when I told him my strange gift was a curse undercover for me and for everyone I bumped into. He believed it was a blessing, one that I hadn't figured out quite yet. I doubted I ever would. Spotting death omens, usually in the shadowy form of a raven, 24 hours prior to an acquaintance biting the big one was tricky enough. Understanding why I seemed to be the only one with this particular ability was a conundrum of monstrous proportions. That didn't stop me from trying, nor did it hinder a certain podcaster of the paranormal from pursuing a professional friendship with me, which led me to why I was so distracted before my shower. Joe had cleared his throat and asked in his blunt way, "How are things with the skinny British kid?" My throat seized. I didn't like speaking about TC. Sure, he paid me to be on his podcast twice a month. Yes, he'd been supportive and helpful whenever possible. True, he was well-mannered and kind, but I knew better than to allow people to get too close. I'd answered Joe with a grimace and a swift switch in the subject. We ended our chat soon afterwards. The damage was done. TC was on my mind, and now there wasn't room for much else, including towels. I must have left them on my couch. I spoke into my bag as I resigned to my growing need for help. Before tucking my phone back in my bag, I checked the time. It was 11:43 a.m. Aqua aerobics ended 30 minutes ago. I knew this because I had to wait for them to vacate before attempting my shower and hair coloring session. I had close to 10 minutes before the next group of classes were released. They'd be beating down the frosted glass door if I didn't hustle. As the last stream of tinted water raced down my spine, I poked my head out of the stall. Hello? No answer. I leaned out a little farther. Hello? Sudden terror trickled up my neck. Wasn't this just the way every horror movie started? A hot, naked starlet searching out the source of a mysterious voice in just a towel, if anything? All that to bite the dust in the most gruesome way possible, just steps away from salvation? My shivers intensified. I was naked alone, but at least I wasn't a hot starlet. For once, I was glad for my pudge. Yet, it was those very rules that kept me from venturing out into the changing room to look for help. Maybe if I could dry off enough to dress without a towel. Still, that would mean walking to my changing station in the other room. I didn't dare. Knowing my excellent track record as a clumsy-footed shuffler, I'd end up sprawled out, butt in the air on the locker floor. Bad news on all accounts. A creaking from the sink area shot hope into my dire situation. Hello? I called again. Mumbled singing echoed back to me. Hello? Louder with a bit more frenzy in my tone, I shouted out to whoever was there. Hello? A cheery voice came back at last. I clapped to the response. Hello, hello, could you help me? Sneakers squeaked on the tile a few steps closer to me than before. Where are you? I stuck my hand out of the stall door. I'm here. I forgot my towel. Oh my, the woman sympathized. Is it by your locker? No, I think I left it at home. That's not good. The kind voice came a bit nearer. What can I do for you? Can I buy you a towel from I can buy you a towel from up front, or I can stand guard for you. No one else is in here but me. Did I dare trust her? People could be cruel. I could go from shivering in private to starring in an online video. My next choice would decide it all. Then again, the helpful lady could just rip open the door of the stall right now. Decency was the only thing holding her back. Hang on, she said when I didn't answer. There was a crackle before she said, Hey, Nadia, it's Shannon. Could you bring me a beach towel from the member shop? She asked. I couldn't make out what Nadia was saying on her end of the walkie-talkie. It was all varying degrees of static from where I stood. Put it on my tab. Yeah, I'm in the women's locker room. Sure, thanks, she said. Shannon ended the call and stepped closer. Help is coming, she reassured me. I'll hold off the next class until we get you your towel. Sorry. Reading out loud, like, it dries out my throat. So, back to Shannon and Penny. Okay. Relief puffed out of me. Thank you so much. No biggie, Shannon said. That's what I'm here for. A moment later, another set of doors opened. From the sudden clamor of voices and music, I guessed the class was already coming in. Showers are closed. Shannon's voice went from compassionate to authoritative without losing a smidgen of its kindness. The other female voices rumbled against her statement. It'll just be for a moment, Shannon explained. I'm over here. I pictured Nadia, whoever she was, wedging herself between Shannon and the crowd of desperate gym goers to hand her coworker the teal and orange towel. Shannon's shoes hustled closer. She lifted the towel over the rim of the shower. Here you go. Thanks, I replied. In a rush of nerves and embarrassment, I wrapped the stiff towel around me, tucking it under my arms, and snagged my shower bag as I cracked open the door. Shannon's happy face greeted me. She wore a smile. She wore a smile and a small smattering of freckles decorating her cheeks like a joyful constellation. It fit her happy voice. Totally fine. I'm glad I was here. I started giggling because I picture what's actually happening in my story and I see them. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it when I'm reading, but I see what they look like and what the scene around them is. And I have been in a gym and the women waiting for the showers are not always the nicest people. They're like desperate and they have, at least at the gym I was at, and they have no qualms about like elbowing you out of the way to get to their shower. Okay. Let's see, where were we? She held back the sweating class long enough for me to escape behind my changing room station's curtain. Once released, they herded to the shower, snarling and snuffling like angry oxen. I curled further into my booth and hoped no one waited in the lobby to tell me what they thought of me holding up their after-workout wash-off. I hustled to get dressed. My towels weren't in the dressing cubicle either. My bet was Spades was currently shedding his black fur all over them. Once the sound of running showers drowned out the overhead music, I made my escape. Hustling across the floor was not a wise move. I skittered a good 6 feet along the tile before slamming to the edge of a locker room exit. A soft chuckle came from behind me. Shannon. It was the helpful towel lady. You okay? I nodded and rubbed my... Sorry. I nodded and rubbed my nose. I smashed it on the wall. I think so. Hey, Shannon said, I love the purple. My eyes rolled upward. Given the stress of the last hour, I'd forgotten about the switch in hair color. My red plus navy blue made a vibrant plum. Thanks. I'm Shannon. I'm an instructor here, she said as she pointed to her name tag. I've spotted you here before. What classes do you attend? I hid my frown. I'd been using the gym shower for the last week. Showers were the whole reason I maintained a gym membership. Sometimes I even scored a space in a solar panel parking spot. When I was so lucky, I plugged into the space and charged Godzilla's backup battery. It made my nights far less frosty if I were able to run a heater. For the moment, Shannon didn't need those kind of details. I'm new, I said. I haven't made the rounds to any classes yet, I told her. Not that I ever planned to subject myself to that particular form of public embarrassment. Just checking out the equipment then. Shannon didn't wait for a response. I was grateful. I totally get it. You want to get the feel of the place before jumping in. Something like that, I replied. My bag strap slid down my shoulder. I repositioned it. Thanks for coming to my rescue. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Do I pay you for the towel at the front desk or here? Shannon waved a hand across her face. Don't worry about it. I'll use my frequent member points. Are you sure? Totally. Shannon strolled beside me. Let's walk out front. I could use a small break. So when I was going to the gym before 2020 and all that kind of stuff, one of my favorite classes was a class called Pound. And my instructor's name was Shannon. And she was really sweet and very, very energetic and older than me, which shocked me to death because she had so much energy. And Pound is a class where you take drumsticks and they play music that's heavy in the drums. And you're doing squats and lunges while you're hitting these drumsticks against each other and against the floor. And I hate squats and lunges, but I loved Pound, the class. It was so much fun. I would leave the class not realizing how much work I'd put into it until like the next day when I could barely walk. But it was so much fun. I love that class. And I put Penny through a similar class later in the story, but memories of hanging out in the Pound class and seeing Shannon and her energetic self, it just comes to my mind when I'm reading, Crushed. Okay, let's see. Where else can we go? I totally lose my spot every time. I followed, uneasy as Shannon led me to a table next to the smoothie bar. I waited for her to sit before absorbing the next stool. I hated staying longer than I needed to. Meandering or loitering drew unwanted attention to my lack of exercising in the gym. It might even get the chance in my hair color, the change in my hair color noticed. Though I tried to wash the stall, some color was bound to linger behind. A normal bout of hair coloring meant I'd dye it and then return to the same stall for a few days in a row to finish the cleanup. I wasn't sure I'd get the chance now that I'd been cornered. Shannon started, "Do you live around here?" "Yes," I replied. I fought with a blush for control over my expression. It could be said that I lived in the gym parking lot. "What about you?" Shannon sighed. "Not super close. I live on the edge of town, about a mile from city limits." That really is the edge. Shannon shrugged. "It's my grandmother's place. She lets me stay for free. I've got no complaints." "Sounds nice," I remarked. "But what would I know? I'd never met my grandparents, let alone lived with them." Shannon seemed to enjoy it. She beamed as she thought about her living situation. "It's great. She's my best friend. Always has been. Are your grandparents still living?" I shook my head. It was easier than explaining. Family tragedy followed by foster home after foster home had landed me living in a mobile tiny home with just a snarky cat as company. Real family was a novelty to me. I watched it like a goldfish from inside its bowl. I took part as a temporary observer, but not a full-fledged member. "I'm sorry," Shannon's eyes clouded. "I almost lost my grandmother." I felt eyes in the back of my head. Using my peripherals, I spotted a muscular man sitting on the bike machine nearest the smoothie stand. He pumped the pedals without urgency. Even from where I sat, I could tell he was watching us. He tried to hide it by pulling down the brim of his Vita blender cap. It was a useless gesture. He was definitely snooping. I just didn't know if he was spying on me and my dripping hair, or on Shannon and her all-around peppiness. Another muscular man with a buzz cut blocked the ogler's view when he walked to our table. Shannon turned to greet this new man. "Paul," she said. "Paul, this is..." Shannon turned to me. "Geez, I'm a dope. I forgot to ask your name." "It's Penny," I answered, trying to appear winsome. "Paul, this is Penny. She's letting me chat her ear off without even asking her name." Paul kissed the top of Shannon's blonde head. "Nice to meet you, Penny." Was everyone in love but me? "What are you ladies up to?" Shannon spun on her stool. She wrapped her ankles around Paul's huge calves. "We're just shooting the breeze before I start the next round of aqua aerobics. Where are you headed?" "I thought you were off shift." Blanca called in sick again. "I'm off to man the smoothie bar." All right. I've been reading to you guys for like 17 minutes now and being a complete goober, but I've had so much fun being back on these lives with you guys. The chapter goes on a little bit longer, but I didn't want to totally bore you with the smoothie shop as my voice starts fading out because, it just does. Anyway, I'm glad to see you guys. I am having another live tomorrow, but that is exclusively on YouTube. And it's going to be really fun. We're going to be talking about cozy mysteries, and not just mine, but ones that I like to read, ones that the characters have inspired me to write other mystery novels. So if you want to catch that, make sure you head on over to YouTube at Sarah the Late Night Coffee Mom and subscribe so you don't miss the live that I do tomorrow night. And that's it. I'll catch you next time. Bye.